So next we will walk you through the time intelligence functions, the key important time intelligence functions that are available in Power BI. And first I'll start with the opening balance. Okay, what is opening balance? Those kind of things we will take a look at it. And then we will proceed opening balance and closing balance. In the accounts, people, you might be familiar with these terms. Even I'm not a finance guy or accounts guy. Anyhow, the concept is very simple. Okay. This makes our life very simple. Which one? The balance and all, the opening balance function, closing balance function that are available as part of the DAX, which makes your life simple. Okay. So what exactly opening balances? Opening balance are the important one when a company finishes on finishes an accounting year, right, and ends up with a closing balance. The last year closing balance will become your current year's opening balance. So the balance is basically carried forward to the new financial year accounts and then becomes the opening balance. Okay, that is the idea of the opening balance. Now, if I go here, because that's a very simple one, so that I will complete it quickly. The difference between opening balance and closing balance, month and opening balance, opening balance, closing balance month, and opening balance, closing balance quarter. See, a month ends on, the February month ends on 28th. In the case of leap year, right, so 29th, the February month ends with 29th. And there are months that ends with the 30th and 31st. This is a very basic thing. We should be, we know that. And then whereas the quarter ends in the March and June, September, December. 4 quarters are there per year. And here are the quarters in a year. This is how we group the quarters. In quarter 1, we have Jan, Feb, March, and quarter 2, April, May, June, like this, right? 4 quarters are there. And the opening and closing balance. Now we will look at the core of the opening and closing balance. We have a opening balance month function is available, and closing balance month built-in DAX function is readily available. So what we will do, this is the idea here. For example, this is the data set given to you. In your data set, you have the date column and account balance, right? So with the help of the opening balance and closing balance month, what we will do is we will arrive these values. But the simple common sense or based on your accounting knowledge, if you see the data here, 31st January, the opening balance, account balance was 250. Before that, we don't have any data. Hence, the opening balance for January month is blank. What is the closing balance for the January month? The same value, right? Fine, 250, fine. Ignore about the quarter now. And the next one is, in February month, your account balance is 345. And the previous month closing balance will become your opening balance for the current month. Okay, the January month closing balance will be your opening balance for your February month. For the February month, the closing balance is 345. Okay, 345. Okay, and this closing balance will become your opening balance. For every month's closing balance will become an opening balance for the subsequent month, right? That is the thing. But when you look at here on the right side, the closing balance quarter, if you see here Jan, Feb, March, these 3 months falls in quarter 1. And here what happens is all these things put together, you get in the March month, the closing balance was 415. Hence, for all these 3 months, right, the closing balance for quarter is 415, 415, 415. This value will be repeated for quarter 1. Same thing is applicable here. In the second quarter, the closing balance is 710. This value repeated here. And then the fourth quarter, the closing balance is 310. Hence, 31105 will be repeated. And similarly, the 1500 will be repeated here. This is how, the accounting people, they maintain their records. Okay, now we will see how we can achieve this using opening balance month and closing balance month in Power BI. So in Power BI, we have opening balance month and closing balance month function is available readily. And now the data, what I have is, it is having only 2 columns, date and account balance. I just go to the Power BI desktop now. And what I will do is I will just show you here. Yeah, this is the one. I'll just show you the data set here. Personal account. The data set name is personal account. This is the Excel given by my manager. You just think that way, okay? My manager gave me this one. Hey, this is the Excel sheet. You load it. I loaded it and I just check the data here. Only two columns are there, date and account balance. But he wants me to come up with a report, something like this. Okay, so date and account balance. Okay, the exact data is available here. Okay, and what I do is what I did here was right. I just used a table here. Look at the table which will got highlighted. Right, this is the one I used it. So in this case, simply I dropped these two columns. The date column I dropped it, and then the account balance I dropped it. And then in this case, what happened? The opening balance. Look here, the calculator things are nothing but your measures. I created measures. 4 measures I created. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. These two columns are already available in my data set. In addition to that, I need to display these values. Opening balance for the month, and then closing balance for the month, opening balance quarter, closing balance quarter, right? So for this, I created 4 measures. And I just show you what logic what function that I use in opening balance month measure. I just click on it here. Opening balance month, the first argument is sum of personal account balance, comma, personal account date. Right. So in this table, personal account table, you have account balance column, date column. The first one is I want to do the sum on this one, right? So here, since there are no data are available previously, it is not showing anything, right? Blank. Simply you just drag and drop it. That's all. You don't have to have accounting background. Look here. So if you have to do it manually by writing your own script, it takes a lot of time, isn't it? With this, it makes your life very simple. And similarly, when I created the closing balance month, the closing balance month, if you see here, that's all. Account balance, same thing. Only thing is, instead of opening balance month, I use the closing balance month. That's all. But in the case of quarter, closing balance quarter, we have something called closing balance month, closing balance quarter is available. And since we want the opening balance and closing balance for quarter, the same thing I did it. It's pretty simple. Once I created it, I just simply dragged and dropped it. We are done. It's perfect. Right. So look here, the January month, 250 was the account balance. Prior to that, we don't have any data. Hence, opening balance was nil. Okay. And the closing balance, the first month account balance was your closing balance for this month. And this one will become your opening balance for the subsequent month. And this is your 345. This is your closing balance for month. Very simple, right? Whatever I have shown you in the Excel sheet in my PowerPoint, the same value, we are able to generate it with the help of opening balance, closing balance, month, quarter functions. The arguments are simply account balance. You don't have to worry about how it works behind the scene. Simply, specify the values. That's all. First argument is sum of this one and this one. That's all. Very simple, isn't it? So this is how you can leverage the opening and closing balance related built-in functions in Power BI.